The call came on a quiet Tuesday morning, just as I was finishing a bowl of cereal before my shift at the auto parts store. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Those usually meant bill collectors or spam calls. But something, maybe instinct or fate, made me pick up on the fourth ring. "Is this Austin call?" the voice asked, crisp and formal. "Yes, speaking." I wasn't even allowed to attend the funeral. "This is Margaret Stevens from the law firm of Stevens, Bradley and Associate. I'm calling regarding the estate of Eleanor Caldwell. I believe she was your grandmother." I froze, spoon slipping from my fingers. Grandma Eleanor had died 6 months ago. My parents, David and Susan Caldwell, had made it perfectly clear I wasn't welcome. They told me everything went to them and my brother. "Yes, She was my grandmother," I answered, unsure. "We need to schedule a meeting. Mr. Caldwell, there are urgent matters regarding her will." "There must be some mistake," I replied. "My parents said I wasn't in the will." There was a pause, a long one. "Mr. Caldwell, I assure you there is no mistake. Are you available this afternoon?" She was in her 60s, sharp yet kind, with a demeanor that spoke of both experience and empathy. "My parents told me I was adopted, that she wasn't really my grandmother, that she had no reason to include me." 2 hours later, I was sitting in a leather chair across from Margaret Stevens in her office. In front of me were documents, ones that made my head spin. According to these papers, Grandma Eleanor had left me $2.1 million, her house, and multiple investment accounts. This can't be right," I stammered. Margaret reached into her briefcase and pulled out a sealed envelope. "The truth, because the lies they've told you are not only cruel, they are deliberate. She instructed me to give you this, personally. She died in a car crash when you were 2. On the front was my name, written in her elegant, careful script. My hands trembled as I opened it. She tried to convince David to give you up for adoption. My dearest Austin, if you're reading this, then I'm an Anne. Margaret has finally been able to find you. Told you you didn't belong, that you weren't truly family. I've spent the last 3 years trying to see you, but David and Susan made sure that never happened. There's something you must know. You are not adopted. You are my grandson, my biological grandson. Your mother, Jennifer, was my daughter. She was David's first wife. 6 months later, David married Susan. Susan never wanted you. She wanted a clean slate, her own family, without reminders of Jennifer, and to my deepest sorrow he almost did, but I threatened to take them to court. I demanded they keep you, and I made it very clear that I would never forgive them if they gave you away. They kept you, Austin, but they made you pay for it. Susan resented you. David became weak. They lied to you. But you are mine, and I watched over you in every way I could, hiring a private investigator. When they moved across the state to hide you from me, I saw you struggle, working 2 jobs, taking classes at night, living in that cramped apartment, surviving on scraps, and I saw something else: grace, dignity, strength. And Susan was nothing more than a usurper who spent 2 decades trying to erase me. That's why I've left everything to you, not out of obligation, but because you are the only one who has lived with integrity. They've been spending money they don't have, expecting a massive inheritance. I let them believe that. I wanted them to. They'll be surprised. This money is my gift to you, but the greater gift is this: truth. You were always loved, always wanted. All my love. Grandma Elena. P.S. The house keys are in the safe deposit box. It's been waiting for you. I read the letter 3 times, letting each sentence peel away decades of lies. I wasn't adopted. Jennifer was my mother. Margaret spoke gently. Your grandmother had a private investigator follow your situation. She was worried. These files detail everything. Inside the folder were photos of me walking to class, working night shifts, eating alone, reports on my living conditions, documentation of how I was barely scraping by while my family flew. I asked, what did they think they were in? Margaret's smile was icy. Your father bought a $65,000 truck last year. And what did they get now? Logan and Ashley get $5,000 each. Your parents get nothing. Your grandmother made that perfectly clear. A place where I'd once asked for help to buy textbooks and had been told I was too old for handouts. The next evening I returned to the house I hadn't stepped foot in for over a year. I wasn't alone. Margaret was beside me, briefcase in hand. Susan opened the door. Her face soured immediately. "Austin, what are you doing here? We need to talk. All of us. It's about Grandma Eleanor's will." Inside, the house has pristine new furniture, expensive art, the truck still in the driveway. My father, David, looked up from the TV, confused, until he saw Margaret. You're the lawyer. Good of you to come." He stood up awkwardly. "I'm here for Austin," she said. The room fell silent. "I'm here to discuss the inheritance he received from Mrs. Eleanor." "Inheritance?" My father choked. "But he's not really family." I finished coldly. "Because I found out yesterday that Jennifer was my mother, and Susan tried to erase me." Susan jumped in. "He was adopted. Eleanor wasn't his real grandmother." Margaret pulled out the letter. "Actually, Austin is Jennifer's son, and according to Mrs. Caldwell's legally binding will, he inherits everything. The house, the investments, the $2.1 million. You could hear a pin drop. "But she told us," my father began. "She lied," I said, "just like you lied to me for 21 years. Ashley stammered. Wait, what do we get? Margaret glanced at her papers. You and Logan each receive $5,000. That's it. Logan exploded. Susan stood up, furious. We'll contest this. She wasn't in her right mind. Actually, Margaret said calmly. She had 2 psychiatric evaluations. Her will is airtight. My father slumped. Austin, please. We made mistakes, but we're still your parents. No, I said. David is my father. Jennifer was my mother. You're just the woman who tried to erase me. Susan whispered. We raised you. You tolerated me, housed me, but you made sure I knew I was unwanted every single day. Ashley pleaded. Austin, you don't have to take everything. I do, I said. Because Grandma wanted me to. You want money? Get jobs. Take out loans. Figure it out like I did. 6 months later, I moved into Grandma's house. It was beautiful, peaceful, full of memories I never got to make. In a box in the attic, I found unopened birthday cards, unsent letters, and photos of me as a toddler with Jennifer. I used part of it to start a non-profit for kids aging out of the foster system, kids like me who felt discarded and forgotten. She hadn't left me. She'd been taken, and Grandma had never stopped fighting for me. I graduated with a degree in business. With the money, I could have retired, but I didn't. David called me once, asking for help with the mortgage. I told him to speak to my lawyer. Susan sends cards every Christmas now talking about forgiveness and starting over. I throw them away, unopened. Logan lost the boat. Ashley got a job. They're learning what I learned long ago. You don't get to inherit what you tried to destroy. But the best thing, the most priceless gift isn't the money. It's the truth. For the first time, I know who I am. I know I was loved. I know I was never the problem. And I know that Grandma never gave up on me, even when everyone else did.